Well, hello one and all, and welcome to our short on list and dictionary comprehensions. In Python, this idea of a comprehension is a quick way to build up a list or a dictionary from data you already have. Now, if you've been to Boston, you might have been to the John F. Kennedy Presidential Museum and Library. This is, in fact, a museum and library dedicated to John F. Kennedy, a famous politician from the Boston area. So I have here a program called Comprehensions.py that looks at one of the addresses, the speeches that Kennedy gave when he took office as president of the United States. Here is a file called address.txt, which actually includes the full text of Kennedy's inauguration address that, again, he gave when he became the president of the United States. In Comprehensions.py, my goal is to analyze this address, looking for what words Kennedy used as he took that office. So let me walk you through the program here. I have here a dictionary called count, initially empty, but as I go, I'll build up this dictionary down below. I also get this list of words using this function that I made called getWords. You don't need to know how it works, just know that it simply opens up this file, address.txt, and returns to me a list of individual words found in this text file here. So for instance, one of the words in the list might be we, another word might be observe, and today, and not. I simply get back this file as a list of the words inside of it. Now, in Comprehensions.py, with that list, what do? I simply iterate over each word in this list, and I'll ask a question. If I've already added this word to my count dictionary, I'll increase its count by 1. If that word is not in my dictionary, though, I'll set its count to 1. And this way, at the end of this loop, I have in my dictionary 1 key for every word in address.txt, and a value which corresponds to how many times that word shows up in Kennedy's address. I'll then save this dictionary in the form of a CSV using this save counts function that, again, I wrote myself. So why don't I go ahead and run comprehensions.py, and let's see what we get. I'll open up, in this case, counts.csv, and this is the output of this program. So you'll see here words on the left and counts on the right, and in this case it seems like the word the appears 83 times, the word of appears 66 times, and appears 37 times. So it seems like we're off to a good start. This seems to be working, but there is in fact a bug. And what is that bug? Well, if I look at this word the here, notice how it's all in lowercase, T-H-E. If I try to find the word the elsewhere in this file, I bet I probably could. Here's the at the very top. That's them, that's not the. Other, the. So here is the with a capital T and T-H-E. So it seems like when we iterate over our words here, some of them are lowercase, some of them are title cased, and those two words are seen as different. We're not comparing words case insensitively. So one quick fix here is actually to convert all the words in this list to lowercase. So let's try that. In comprehensions.py, I now have this list of words that I got directly from address.txt. It maintains that capitalization. But what I really want is a list of lowercase words that I could then iterate over just like this. Now, the question then becomes, how do I make this list of lowercase words? Well, if you're familiar, I could use a loop. I could iterate over every word in my list of words, changing them to lowercase, appending them to some new list. I could do that, or I could use a list comprehension. These are great ways to build up a new list from some list you already have. So here I have this list of words, but I want to transform it. I want to take every word in this list and convert it to lowercase, giving myself back a new list at the end. So to make a list comprehension, there are a few pieces of syntax. One is that list syntax here, these brackets which indicate I'm making some new list. But inside of this syntax here, you don't type your own individual words. Like I wouldn't type the or whatever comes next, country, for instance, I instead use a certain kind of for loop. I'm going to iterate over every element in my previous list and do some transformation to it. So let's see the simplest list comprehension I could make here. I could say word for word in words, a bit like English. What I'm saying here is I want a list, and this list will be composed of the word element for each word that I have in words. Or another way of putting this is I'm really getting back the exact same list. I'm asking for every word that exists in my words list, every element in this list, give me back that element unchanged as a new list. Now, this isn't really interesting, it isn't really helping me here, but what would help me is this. I could transform this word in any way I want to. I could make it lowercase, for instance, by typing word.lower. In this case, what I'm now asking for is the lowercase version of each word in the words list as a new list. And this is my list comprehension. I'm still iterating over every word in the words list, but I'm now transforming what I get back into lowercase and giving the entire thing back to me as a new list. No need for a separate loop here. I'm doing this all on one line. So let's see if it works. If I run Python of comprehensions.py, I'll then go back to count.csv, and if I scroll up, well, it seems like we've consolidated our values for the. We no longer have title case the or lowercase the. We just have only lowercase the and an appropriate count in this case. So again, comprehensions, great for transforming your lists for some other use case. And this is what I've done to help us lowercase all those words there. Now, list comprehensions, you can also use them to filter your lists if you'd like. So let's say I don't just want every word in this list of words, now converted to lowercase. Maybe I only want those that are longer than 4 letters, for instance, getting to the more interesting words Kennedy spoke about when he gave his inauguration address. I could append here an if statement. If, let's say, the length of this word is greater than 4, we'll only include it in this list if this condition is true. So let's read this, again, a bit like English. What I'm asking for here again is every word in this list of words, but I want to tweak every word just a little bit. I want to make every word lowercase, and I only want to include it if the length of that word is greater than 4. Let's try this. I'll run Python of comprehensions.py. I'll go back to counts.csv, and now I see here only those words that are greater than 4 letters long. And so we see here the word world appearing 8 times, which makes sense because as Kennedy gave his address, he was talking about the US's place in the world. Well, let's see. We've made here a list comprehension, but we also promised to talk about dictionary comprehensions. So if I look at this, loop down below, I can actually simplify this using a dictionary comprehension, because a dictionary comprehension is doing much the same thing. It's going to iterate over every element in some list and build up for me a dictionary based on those elements. So let's try making our own dictionary comprehension. Instead of setting counts up above, what if I did this? I could say, let's make the dictionary counts here, but let's do it in a way that is a little more Pythonic. Well, I can use this same loop syntax for blank in blank. I could say for word in words. I'm building up this dictionary by looking at every word in the words list. And now what do I want to do with every word in the words list? Well, I want this word to become a key in my dictionary, and I want the corresponding value to be the number of times that word appears in the words list. So this here is my dictionary comprehension, if I actually use lowercase here for lowercase words. And let's read it now a little bit more like English. I'm again iterating over every word that I have in my lowercase words list. but now I'm building up a dictionary as I go. I'm saying for every word in this list of lowercase words, let's do the following. Give me a key called word and set the value to the count that this word appears in the lowercase words list, just like this. So here, I've replaced that entire loop with my now dictionary comprehension, a way of building up this dictionary by using some more Pythonic syntax. I'll now run Python of comprehensions.py, and I'll look at counts.csv, and we'll see the same results. Really, I've just simplified what I had before. So this then can be my entire program. I've taken a program that was upwards of 15, 20 lines and shortened it down in this case to just 4 or so in the main function. This is the power of list and dictionary comprehensions. Hope you enjoyed this short. We'll see you next time.